Hey friends, I am pressing record directly at 10:30 Saturday morning, and I have until exactly 1:30 when we need to leave for a little girl's birthday party. She has seen Lila's mini mala that I have posted. It was at one of the end of our reels. She loves it so much, and every time we see her, the girls go to karate together. She asks, when am I going to make her one? So her birthday party is at 2 o'clock and I'm starting this at exactly 10:30. So I'm just going to walk you through the process. I think I have some bead color combinations picked out already, but I need to put the whole mini mala together, all 72 beads, what pattern it's going to go into, tie every single knot, make a tassel, and I'm going to walk you through it. Here we go. Okay, so this is pretty much the color combination I'm going to go with. So I'm just going to pull out a bunch of beads to start. And then we will put them in a pattern that seems fitting and figure out how many we need for each color. So first we have, I'm going to go with this Amazonite. So we will put those there. Just get a big pile. I'm going to throw one of the amethyst. Maybe that's going to be like our guru bead. And then we have here, this will go in a separate little circle, apatite. And here we have hematite. Then we have some rose quartz. And then here we have rhodonite. Now the rhodonite, you can kind of see them up here. Let's see. It's this one right here. There's a lot of black. So I'm going to try and pick out mostly pink beads. I know her favorite colors are blue, pink, and purple. So I'm just going to get a bunch of the pinker beads. Oh, pretty cool. Just trying to avoid the ones that are like really black. Okay, I may need more beads than this, but we will start there. The other thing I was going to add, a couple of these amethysts that I have some hearts and some stars, so I'm going to throw just a couple of those on the board just to mix in somewhere along the line. I went for the really, really purple ones. This one's got a lot of gray and white in it, so I'll put that one back. Cool thing about mala making is that you can really go with the feeling that you're getting too. I feel like sometimes the beads just speak to me like, oh, I need this one. Especially for who I'm making it for. If I know who it's going to, it gives it a little bit more inspiration. So that one's got a lot of clear. So I'm going to go with these two that are darker purple. Okay, now's the fun part where I start making a pattern. So I typically will put my guru bead wherever that's going to be and work my way out from there. So since I'm going to have purple right at the beginning, I think I'm going to do a couple Amazonite first because that looks really pretty right next to each other. I tend to like to do like a few, maybe. I'll do that. Anyways, I'm not going to try and talk through my whole process, but I usually mess around with it a bit before I come up with my full pattern. Quartz. She's turning 8, so I feel like the number 4 should be in here. All right, I'm going to count. So the guru bead doesn't count for part of your 72. So we've got 26 on each side. So 52. So we need 20 more beads. So I definitely need to pull out some more. How are you liking it so far? I'm liking it. Okay, so I have some more beads out here. I am really debating on this pattern, which is typical for what I normally do. I'm thinking this hematite looks a little odd in there. And hematite is really well known for grounding. And if I'm sticking with this theme of 4, I think I'm going to put this on her neckline. That's going to be the very back of this mala to help keep her grounded. And then I'm liking this a lot more because it is going to feel just a little more like cohesive with the sizing of the beads. And then for these smaller beads over here, we've got 6mm versus 8mm. I think what I'm gonna do, because I really do love this star next to these blue, is I'm gonna alternate them like I did here. I have the 2, but I'm gonna do, I think, something like this. Push these up. This is going to be its own little part of the mala. So whenever I'm making the pattern, I try to make, it's like their own little part. I don't know how else to explain it, but it works in my head. So there's this little part, it's like its own little pattern. So it starts with the star, ends with the heart. I kind of like that. And kind of like how this was, the pinks, the blues. That's what I'm going to do again. I'm a Virgo, and so like patterns are, it's just important for me that they're similar in the pattern. If you look at the malas I've made, I have a good friend who, she's amazing. She inspired me to make malas. Her malas are beautiful. All of the ones you've ever seen me wear were made by her. But she has the coolest patterns. She's very unique in her pattern design. I always end up loving mine once they're on someone and once they're finished. But it takes me a minute to get there. Okay, I'm going to need to count again, remembering that I have these 4. I do have these pulled out. Not sure if I'll need them. Okay, so we're going to count again. So we're at 60, so I need 12 more beads. So 6 for each side. Remember, this is going to be at the neck. Coming from there, so we're going to go. Okay, I'm really loving that. Yeah, I'm really loving that. So next, I just have to decide. I picked this tassel color. It's a light blue with Amazonite. I feel like that's going to be beautiful. So now I have to pick what string would look really great as the knots in between. I'm leaning towards this purple because they go so good together. I pulled out this blue. That's definitely not it. It's too bright. Or pink, which could also go. There's already so much pink in here. And I'm feeling like there's not a lot of purple because we only have the 5 amethyst beads. So I'm going with this purple. So now what I'm going to do is string the whole thing and then I'll start beading. Okay, so I have all those extra beads put away. It's 11:05, so that took me about 30 minutes with all the talking and filming. So what I do, this is a mini mala. So for my normal size malas, 108 beads, I would take about 4 arms lengths worth of string. But since this is just a mini mala, I'm going to do 3. So there's 1, 2, 3. You obviously want to take a lot extra because you're going to be knotting, so you lose some of that length. And here's where it gets fun. I usually leave enough for the tassel at the end to tie in. And then I'm going to just make a knot. And then I bead on the entirety of this pattern with the exception of the guru bead. So that's the start. So I'm just going to do that now. Hopefully I don't knock anything off while I'm trying to film. I also like to just burn the tip of this. It makes it slightly easier to get these smaller beads on. I can make kind of a point. It does help. I'm going to make sure this is facing the correct way. I want the star to be upright. So we're going to go in through the bottom, so that will be upright at the end. So what's really nice about having this board is that you really know what direction everything's going when you have beads like that. Same with this heart, you want it to be facing upright. We are officially halfway there. I know a lot of people like to just string half and then start knotting. I prefer to have the whole thing so that I have my workspace available. And I'm always nervous I'm gonna mess up the bead order once it's sitting here on this table, but I'm also doing this at my dining room table where, you know, we live, so anything could happen with 2 kids and a dog and husband. Now we're going down the top, just the same direction with your string, so you know which direction for your shapes. So I'm going to find the top of the star. Looks like you're putting it on backwards, but you know the direction you're going with your string. Okay, we have done it. Now we're going to pull up all this extra string. Now we should be able to see what it will look like minus the knots. This cutie bead right here with the tassel. It's gonna be so beautiful. I really, really love this one. And I think she's really gonna love it. It's perfect for an 8-year-old. Spunky, just shines so bright, this little girl. I love it. I bet Lila's going to be wanting this one, and I might even have to recreate it for her. All right, let's get knotting. Okay, so the way that I knot my malas is I will push all my beads away from that first initial knot when we were placing the beads on. I'm going to use my very first bead, pull it down, and I'm simply going to knot around it. And I'm going to pull this through. Now eventually I'll be pulling the whole mala through. And I'm fine with that. It works for me. I know some people, like I said, only do half their mala first, but I think it works for me. I hold it with some tweezers. I get it not all the way snug. I kind of actually want it to be a little loose. And I actually use that next bead to tighten the knot so that there's no give in between. So I'm going to pull my tweezers out so carefully. Hopefully you can see that well. Then I just pull this down. And that is what gives that knot the super close tightness to the next bead. Now that bead is not moving at all. So that is my process, and I am going to move fast because, like I said, I have till 1:30 and I still have to make a tassel and tie it off and all of that jazz. So here we go. And see, I knew that one was going to be a little bit loose, so that's why I stopped and I tried to make it a little looser to pull it down, and now it's perfect. Nice and tight. Any shape beads can give you a little bit of trouble because they're not pulling down quite the same, so looking good. So as you get closer from knotting, you just need to keep moving your beads down the string a little bit. We are probably going to use all of this string. I was realizing I was doing one arm length, and normally I do both arm lengths. There's a very good chance that I'm going to run out of this string and have to untie this whole thing and give it to her at a later date. That is a possibility right now that I'm looking at. We'll see how far we can get. Almost to the halfway mark. I just have to pull these knots super duper tight. We are almost halfway. Hope that I don't have to unknot this whole thing for more string. Every time we twist for that knot, it starts twisting up your string. On a mini mall, you're not getting it as bad, but once you have 108 beads, you sometimes have to straighten out the string before you continue going. I'll just show you what I do. I usually just kind of let it go and twist the other end. And that does help. Okay, we're on to the hematite. So after 2 of these, we are officially halfway. Then I might just take a short break and let you know how long that just took me because I'm recording. so I can tell you exactly how long half of it took. The official halfway knot. All right, so there's half of it all strung. So pretty. I love the little purple in there. And that was exactly 22 minutes. I'm going to take a little break and come back and string the rest, probably off screen, and show you how I finish it. Okay, I'm on my last 2 beads. Show you what I do. Finish this off and then add our guru bead and our tassel. I luckily did cut enough string and it's going to work out beautifully. Last bead. And then for this final knot, I'm going to just throw any old bead on here. This is not part of the mala, just so that I can tighten that last knot. We'll just remove that one. Here is mala all knotted. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so now to finish off the mala, we're going to tie the ends of the mala 3 times. And we're putting intention and energy into this. So the first knot is for oneness. The second knot is for the female energy. And the third knot is for the male energy. We're going to put our guru bead on down both strings. So this is going to be a little tough to get the second one through. So I'm going to get it on and I'll come back to you. Okay, so that bead definitely was not about to be a guru bead. I could not get both strings through. And I feel like that's only happened a handful of times, but I did have these 10mm amethyst beads, and I feel like this is just fine. So I do like kind of, I don't know if you can see that, but I melt the tip just a little to make it like a little needle, and hopefully this will go through. Figured I'd show you in real time what it's looking like. I get the one side in, make the other side a real thin needle, nice and firm, and I just try and pull that one through. See how it came through once I start pulling this one? All right, so we're going to tie off the guru bead. And again, just like before, we did the 3 to end the mala. We're going to put love and intention in the end of this guru bead with 4 ties. The first again for oneness. The second for earth energy, grounding. The third for sun energy, giving. And the fourth for moon energy, receiving. Okay, so now we're going to make the tassel. I'm just going to take the 2 ends off this. And I like to try and find approximately the center. About there. Okay, so here's the 2 ends. We're going to take one little piece of it out like this. And this is the part we're going to tie to right here. And we're going to cut this side. So these 2 strings at the end of the mala are going to tie around the top here. We're going to leave this little piece out. So cutting the bottom here. And tying around the top. I do at least 2. Make sure that's somewhat even. Pull those purples down into the center. And then with this extra piece that was from the top, I'm going to bring it back up there. Okay, so now that we have that tied in, the one that I made a little bit longer with the blue, we're going to pull out, let's see, right about here. And we're going to leave one of the longer of the purple out. With this strand, I'm just going to make a little loop. It's going to look something like this. We're just going to hold it down here, right about where I'm going to wrap the rest of this tassel. Okay, so with my contrasting color, because I think it looks pretty, we're going to wrap 5 times, leaving this little loop out, making sure it's pulled nice and tight. We're going to go around, starting from the bottom up. There's 1. And you know what? I'm actually going to start that over because I don't like where it's coming from. So get this really close here. There we go. Now I'll start. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. So maybe I only got 4 there. I'm gonna do 1 more. Make sure there's 5 because it's pretty. Let me do it like this. Okay. And now I'm going to come around back through this loop. I'm going to put my string. Okay, and then we're going to find that string up here. And we're going to pull it until it goes all the way through underneath that knot. There we go. Now it's through. Kind of bunched up a little bit, but you can work with it. You can play with it. So this is just now going to hang as part of the tassel. Now you can see. And then this string, I'm going to take a needle and I'm going to just push it back down through all of those pieces. And then we will cut this off, make it an appropriate length. Okay, so I have it on my needle. I'm just going to come on back through here. Making sure that it goes through the purple. Go down through. Once you got it, just grab the one side because you don't want to pull it too hard. You can really make the tassel look uneven on top. There we go. We've got that through. Tassel's complete. And then you can figure out the length you want. I'm probably going to do right to where this purple is. Right there. And I'm just going to cut off a line. And then we can trim it up if it looks funny. Looks pretty good to me. So, finished product. It's going to be beautiful, and we have 30 minutes to spare before we have to leave. So, even with the troubles of that guru and the tassel was a little bit tricky at the end, it usually is. I feel like the guru bead and the tassel take as long as knotting the whole thing. And then the planning, you know, that was about 30 minutes for the planning. So I think it's gorgeous. I'm going to take some photos and I'll get a good picture of her wearing it. Hey guys, thanks for watching. There it is. All done. I hope that you learned something and can try it yourself.